Organized labor has temporarily suspended moves to embark on an industrial strike or an industrial action over the management of its pension funds. It expects the government to issue directives for the transfer of funds to the various sector schemes by July 14, 2014, in a bid to have total control of their funds. Now, members have given the government up to 2 weeks to come out with a tangible solution to enable them manage their own funds as enshrined in the National Pensions Act of 2008, Act 766. Now, I think we should get into that matter. Raymond Wache is with a concerned coalition of concerned teachers. We'll talk about this over the next few minutes. Hello, Raymond.
Yes.
Oh, so finally, you have all decided to give government 2 more weeks to deal with this matter. Why so?
Well, I strongly believe that whichever way we look at the situation, in as much as labor, we want government to expedite action. Sometimes, too, it is very important that you give room where necessary for further dialogue. If you remember, this year, the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, together with NAGRAT, we embark on a strike action. And among the items, indeed, we were talking about is this here. It will surprise you to note that after the strike was called off, but there were lots of mediation by the National Labour Commission and other stakeholders to call off the strike action, of which indeed we had to give respect to them. And then we called off the strike action, expecting that at least we'll go back to the negotiation table and then look at these specific issues. Now, as we speak, sometimes when you even call, when you're supposed to meet at the National Labour Commission, you go there and there's nobody there. And we strongly believe that we cannot also continue, looking at the situation all concerned while workers will be retiring 2015 and there won't be anything for them. And so we strongly believe that it is very important that we continue to pile up the pressure until government respond to our call. But we believe piling up the pressure also will not say, oh, you wake up early in the morning and you say, no, we are laying down our tools. Still, you need to give them some room. So 2 weeks, I think, we believe that with that, the government will be able to do something before things get worse.
I see. But what engagement have you had with government so far?
It's a long story. It's a long story. Way back in 2011, if my memory serves me right, where indeed some of us, we were not even part of the organized labor then. Then there were lots of, first of all, there was a need to establish what is called occupational pension scheme. So far as those of us in the Ghana Education Service is concerned, we were advised by the National Pensions Regulatory Authority to form what is called the GES Occupational Pension Scheme, where indeed we have gone through all the necessary legal processes, where we have been given a certificate. Of course, we have the Board of Trustees and everything in place. Now, what is left is that the funds, which of course have been deducted from the salaries of workers from the insertion of the 3rd-tier pension scheme, to be remitted to the account of this occupational pension scheme. And look, from 2011, as my memory sets me right, we have been engaging government, as to how the money will be remitted, as to where the money is at the moment, as to how much interest rate is being accrued on the money, and etc. But, answers to some of these questions are not forthcoming. And sometimes government will bring in so many clauses. The letters of the clauses was that who was the employer, and that thing I think we've been able to even cross the hurdle. It's so boring. I don't know how to even describe it. So it has been back and forth, and clearly you could see that this is a deliberate ploy by government either to deny the workers of this nation what the law says they're supposed to have. Because I cannot imagine what will happen next year when people retire and they are going for their lump sum and SNIT will say, no, we are sorry, we are not responsible for that.
If you haven't heard anything from your employer after your last threat, not the very recent one, your last threat, and you decide that you even give that same employer who's not heeded to any of your calls another 2 weeks, you think that employer will take you seriously?
Well, it's not a matter of they taking us seriously or not. But the fact of the matter is that we strongly believe that, first of all, we are citizens of this nation. The government indeed has come out with so many, cries as to the economy and the other things. So sometimes when you are dealing with human beings, sometimes you need to give them room to operate. Sometimes you need to give them benefit of the doubt. Sometimes you need to play like a fool of a sort, right? So that when you come out, finally, and you are making your case, the whole world will be a witness or a testimony or will testify that indeed what you are making, and you are going through all the processes that you need to go through. Obviously, I remember when one major question that was posed was that, have you exhausted all the avenues? Yes, we have exhausted. But we so believe that, well, they are human beings. Sometimes you need to, give them this room so that at the end of the day, you see if there will be some light at the end of the tunnel. But if the government refuses after this period given, this we call the grace period given, then obviously we have no option than to advise ourselves.
I see. We'll leave it here for now. Thank you very much. Raymond Boache Dakwa is General Secretary for the Coalition of Concerned Teachers. Let's move on to